What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today the 2023 NFL Draft ended, and yes, I am going to be that guy. I'm dropping a 2024 NFL mock draft. I'm making this with like 2 picks left in the 7th round, just so you guys can get it ASAP. Yes, I've been working on this the entire time. It takes a lot of work to put into this, so if you guys could show some love, like, comment, subscribe. We're on our road to 8K, and we're getting so close. Would love for you guys to get me there because, it's a really cool milestone to get to. Thank you guys again for the people who have already been here. You guys are awesome. You guys have shown me so much love. And yes, you can see the eye bags right now. I've been working my tail off just so we could bring you guys some good draft content. We have grades coming out ASAP too, because those are all ready. Let's get right into this. Let's have a good time. And I did make the draft order. This is, a projected draft order. Don't get too mad if your team's way higher than you expected. Enjoy the fact that you get a good pick. It's very tough to pick the worst teams. There's a lot of teams that I think will be really good, and that's kind of what dictated what teams won't be after pick 2. So pick 1, there are no trades in this except for the trades that have already happened before. We have the number 1 pick, and I think it's going to be Arizona, and I'm sticking to Marvin Harrison Jr. I wish my camera were not directly over the JR, but, who cares? You guys know exactly who I'm talking about. He is probably the best wide receiver that we have seen out of college. He very well might become the best wide receiver in the NFL coming into the league. DeAndre Hopkins might be on his way out by this time, so I do believe that you are looking for a true number 1. Kyler has his grasp on the cojones of the organization, and I think that he'll be like, I want that guy, and they'll go for it. It's too much money tied up with Kyler to go after Caleb Williams, even though, Caleb Williams is, a 5-star prospect, but ain't no way in hell is he going to escape pick number 2. Tampa Bay sticks to it. So yes, I believe the top 2 teams are the same, but I used to have Joe Alt going number 1 before Paris Johnson was selected this year. Tampa Bay, obviously just grabbing a ton of pieces that are not going to be impacting your overall too much in terms of your win percentage, but I think they're a team that could certainly vault a good enough team to be able to get those wins. I just don't think they'll be the reason for it. Caleb Williams, though, will be the reason for it. He's an absolutely awesome player. People say Patrick Mahomes 2.0. I fully agree. Caleb Williams is spectacular. Next, we have the Broncos. Yes, I just don't fully have faith in the Broncos. Their draft was there's too little addition to the team for what I really wanted, and I just don't trust the roster as a whole. This could come to bite me back in the ass. But the more we break down the roster and the more time goes on, of course, this very well may change. But I just don't have faith in Russell Wilson. I don't have faith that the locker room believes in him. And just overall, I'm just not fully ready to embrace the new culture. I think Sean Payton has a little bit of rust for being out of the league for, I think, a year or 2. And I think he will definitely kick it into gear and be an amazing head coach. But it'll just take him a little while. And a lot of teams are really good in the NFL, and this is the AFC. So that's a big reason why, is because they're in the AFC. Let's continue on. Yes, the Packers. Again, it's the AFC. It's so competitive. I'm literally thinking like, damn, I have 2 teams in the NFC that I would probably try to put in the playoffs of the AFC, where you guys have 7. There's only 2 teams I think could compete with the AFC in the playoffs, which, at the end of the day, you only need 1 team to compete. But there's just a significant drop-off. I don't think that in the draft you addressed the wide receiver position well enough. Dontavian Wicks is not getting me all excited. And you got some good tight end weapons. That's wonderful. But I haven't seen Jordan Love in full. I don't fully believe in him yet. I think he needs more time to get the rust off and be more consistent as a starter. It makes sense. He's never started consistently, that is. So I think that this is a great opportunity to end up grabbing Joe Alt, because, we obviously know that there are some big questions with David Bakhtiari's health. This is a great option for you guys. Even if he ends up kicking inside for a short period of that career, he's still going to be a very valuable asset to a team where now you have experience under Jordan Love's belt. You extend him, you don't, you do whatever the hell you want. And I think the reason you guys would be here at 4 isn't because Jordan Love isn't good, but I think it's just because maybe in those close games, he hasn't fully clicked, and maybe by the end, you'll be able to get that. Next, we got Dallas Turner going to the Arizona Cardinals. This was a bitch to do. A bitch to decide on, because I didn't really know what to do. Like, well, do I go for Brock Bowers and get another tight end? You already have two who are consistent on the roster. Very tough. But I think that if you continue adding edge rusher weapons, having him as well as BJ Ojulari would be two amazing pieces. You could talk about Mr. Florida State that we'll talk about very soon, but I think that DJ Dallas Turner will be absolutely awesome. You still need to build the defensive front, so I think this is a good route to go. Again, I'd personally trade out of this spot, but we aren't doing trades apart from what's already happened, and this was a trade that was negotiated with Houston when they jumped up to pick number 3. Next, we have the Bears. They jumped from pick number 1 to pick number 6. I still think that's a very competitive division. I still have you guys beating out the Green Bay Packers. I don't think the draft had enough potential in order to make a day one impact. You drafted 3 interior defensive linemen, all 3 that I believe are DPRs. I just don't trust them on a down-to-down basis. But you got the right tackle right. That's awesome. And Cole Kmet's going to be coming up for a contract. Why not replace him with Brock Bowers? I could be totally wrong about this, but you have to remember, it is really tough to decide who's in the top 10. And you guys were not doing too well. And I think this is where the year where Justin Fields would start clicking. And then by the time you bring Brock Bowers on, Justin Fields will be a full-fledged star quarterback. And there's no excuses. There won't be. Next, we have the Los Angeles Rams without, I was actually going to try to put them in the playoffs, but without those defensive weapons. You know, Jalen Ramsey's gone, and then Bobby Wagner's gone. You lost 2 of your primary leaders, and it was not replaced well enough. You had an amazing draft. That's the thing. You guys, so spoiler alert, you guys had an amazing draft. It's just not moving the needle enough. If you had a really solid roster and then added those guys to it, you guys have built strength and foundation. You have foundation, but you don't have the strength yet. And that's what's going to determine whether you guys are in the top 10 or in the top 20. But, you know, Olu Fashanu, getting an offensive tackle, pairing him up with Steve Avila, I think that's going to be the right way to start it all off. Pick number 8, the Raiders are here. I just don't. It's so tough in the AFC. It really is. I have no idea where these teams are going to go. So just take it with a pinch of salt. This will probably change the more that you study the roster. Jimmy G, I don't fully trust his health. I love Aiden O'Connell, might be your starter coming the year. But assuming Jimmy G gets hurt, which is, you know, statistically a pretty good bet, you're going to get a pretty solid pick. Tyree Wilson has been medically cleared to go, but you don't know if something will start acting up, and you want to make sure it's up to 100%. Kool-AID McKinstry, a boss-ass defensive back, is going to be a great addition to your team. I still want to see a true corner 1 there in Vegas, and this guy could certainly be that. Next, we got J.C. Latham going to the Patriots, a repeat pick from before. Bill loves his Alabama Crimson Tide, and right tackle as well as left are going to be opening. Did not address it this year's draft, so I think this is going to be a good time to be able to do that. They address the interior of the offensive line a lot. J.C. Latham's going to be a really fun one who's played. I think he might be moving to left tackle this year, but he's definitely played right, which is awesome. So good to see that. At number 10, the Texans actually first pick because they traded their own pick to the Arizona Cardinals via Houston. Not Houston. It is Houston. Houston's pick via Cleveland. They're going to be going Jared Verse. And imagine adding this dude to Will Anderson. You are having arguably the best pass rush instantly. And D'Amico is going to eat that shit up. I love it. Super excited. This guy's extremely fast, extremely tenacious. Should have been a top 10 pick this year. I am honestly baffled why he returned, but it is the way it is. Next, we got Washington, and I think if they're at this point, they are going to be going after Quinn Ewers. You know, it is what it is, man. If they're at this spot, when I just could not fathom putting them above other teams in their own division, it's going to be what it is. And there's going to be a new regime coming in. They're going to want a new QB, and I love Sam Howell. They just don't even have faith in their own defensive line. You know, it's tough. It is really tough. Next, we got EGBUKA going to the Falcons. I know Falcons fans are going to be mad. They're like, how the hell are we not in the playoffs? Y'all crazy. Listen, I'm boosting you guys up from 8 to 12. That is a significant boost. That literally is a 50% boost in your draft position. I think that you guys have done, honestly, a solid enough job with Bijan Robinson to boost you up that 50%. I'm not over the moon about anything else you've really done, but EGBUKA, pairing him up with the weapons that you already have, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, this is going to be a ridiculous show on the field. I love it. Emeka EGBUKA, to me, is the second best wide receiver in the nation. I am a huge fan of him. And it's a reason why I was lower on JSN, is because you have Emeka EGBUKA and Marvin Harrison who are drastically better. And it doesn't mean JSN's worse or like not a good prospect. It just means he's worse than these guys. And I love what they bring to the table. Next, we got AD Mitchell, transferred from Georgia to the University of Texas at Austin. Also, horns down because I go to SMU. I'm legally binded to do that. But yeah, I think you guys are trying to trade for D-Hop. I think this would be an amazing, cheap way. Well, not cheap, but an amazing way to get a younger option that I think could have an equal impact on your roster. You have Will Levis there. You have the offensive line. You're starting to build a really good franchise. And I couldn't draft AMARIUS MIMS for you guys because I can't really fathom drafting a Georgia tackle anymore for Tennessee. But this is a really, really good choice nonetheless. Next, we got my guy. I had him. This is a repeat pick, JER'ZHAN Newton. I love JER'ZHAN. I think that he might actually end up being a top 10 selection. Hop on the hype train early. I continued watching every single Illinois defensive back. This is the common denominator of who is making plays left, right, and center that is not in the defensive back group. This guy's a freak. He moves crazily fast in a straight line. I could almost feel like he might be in that 4.7 territory at over 300 pounds. Elite hand fighting. This guy is a boss. This guy is a monster. We're going to be doing everything we can to bring him on the show, but I can guarantee you, Bears fans, this is a guy who can stuff the run like a mother trucker. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be able to pair him up, Zach Pickens, Gervin Dexter. That's going to be a nasty front that you guys can use to be able to get good pass rush presence as well as very good run stuffing ability. This is what you need. It really is, and I cannot emphasize that enough. You just need to hit on this defensive line, and there's nothing close to it in value because I do think this guy will end up being a top 10 player on my board nonetheless. Starting out at number 15 for the Dolphins. Love that. Jeremiah Trotter. Number one linebacker in the class by far. He probably will end up going higher. Very well might be the case. And he's a very, very good player. Can't let him slip past the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins might have some slip-ups here and there. They're very hot and cold. You'll see them win a lot. Then they'll just randomly start having a losing streak. I don't understand what's up with that. But, with Devon A-Chain, you can probably take the ball a little bit more away from Tua, make sure he's a little bit healthier. We'll see what happens, but I do think that they could be in this little bit of the middle of the pack, right on the fringe of the playoffs, and if they are, Jeremiah Trotter is an amazing choice to make. Next, we have the Vikings. Regressing a little bit, still don't really believe in that defense. You don't even have Eric Kendricks anymore. JT TUIMOLOAU is a great choice. You have Marcus Davenport on a one-year deal. He'll be gone. You guys could definitely use a guy like JT TUIMOLOAU. I don't need to really introduce him unless you guys haven't seen him yet, which watch the Penn State game. Then you'll know what he's all about. This guy's a freak show, and I'm very excited to be able to eval him and see where he goes in this draft. Next, we got Zach ZINTER going to the Colts. Didn't draft Osiris Torrance in round 2, which I was surprised. I was like, hey, give Anthony Richardson his guard. But you guys didn't. Zach ZINTER is a powerful guard. Powerful. I love watching this dude play. He has a lot of flaws, but this dude's able to stand perfectly straight and pop some dude with his hands, and they just go flying. And I love that. I love that type of power. You can't really teach that. You can teach technique. You cannot teach power. And at this spot, at the guard spot, I believe in power a lot. This is a great choice to add another amazing threat on that front. Next, the Steelers. I was trying my hardest to put us in the playoffs. I really was. I did everything I could. I couldn't do it. We just missed it, but I wanted to make sure that I showed how much we improved. We had a really, really good draft. My least favorite pick was probably the last one with that Maryland guard, but you can't win them all. We won almost every single one of those. I don't know where Ivan Pace Jr. is going at the moment. I'm praying it's to us. That'd be really fun, but I highly doubt it. Anyways, Tommy Eichenberg will be an excellent selection. He would have been my linebacker 1 in this class before returning. I have full faith that this dude is going to be an absolute stud. Hop on the hype train early. I'm telling you, this is not just based off of reputation. This is based off of pure tape study. I love this man. He is going to be awesome. And just make sure you're on the hype train early because you might feel a little bit left out when the hype train starts picking up. Next, we got CALEN Bullock to the Niners. You just made it. I just think that with Brock Purdy not at 100% health, I just don't know how much Trey Lance is going to step up in the big moment. And a defensive back is always a good way to go for the Niners. I think BULLOCK is going to be a monster there. Obviously, they're in LA, so, an hour flight for San Francisco. They're going to love him. He's a really big playmaker. Very excited to see. Next, we got BUCKY IRVING going to the Ravens. At this point, the Ravens don't need absolutely anything, and they're going to take the first running back off the board. I think BUCKY IRVING's a stud. I think that he might have been one of the best running backs, if not the best, in the country this year, challenging Bijan Robinson. He's a special talent. I'm very excited to see what he can do in the NFL. Next, we got Braylon Trice to the Lions. They didn't address edge rusher in this class, and I really feel like the Lions had Super Bowl potential, but I just don't think they hit in the spots that they really needed to. This could have been someone like, Troy Franklin. That would have been a really good choice to get a boundary receiver, but I wanted to give some kudos to a very solid edge rusher with a lot of really, really good production. Next, we got AMARIUS MIMS. Right tackle still open. I don't really trust Walker Little to play there at the moment, and then I don't really know if Cam Robinson's going to be there after Anton Harrison is taking over at left tackle. To me, I think that could be a really good spot to test out a very young, very high upside offensive lineman. Next, we have Dante Trader Jr. here to the New Orleans Saints. Defensive back is always a nice addition to have, and it's one of those positions I don't think you addressed all too well in this past draft. So excited to see what a really big ball hawk and a really big playmaker can do for you. Next, we got ARIK Gilbert. This is a repeat pick again. Kellen Moore loves his tight ends, and this dude is a freak show. I'm excited to see him actually be able to take some meaningful reps there at Nebraska and be able to whoop some ass. And then we got the New York Giants. Lost out on Julian Love, went to the Seahawks. I think James Williams would be a great addition. As somebody who I fell in love with as a true freshman, and I'm excited to see him continue to develop into a star player because I think that's exactly what he could be. The other Miami safety as well, Kitchens, he's a beast too. There's so many safeties in this class that I could have included, but I decided to choose James Williams. I think that his upside is just too damn good. Then we got Kingsley Suamatia, offensive tackle out of BYU, formerly out of Oregon. I think this dude is a beast. I love him to death. There's a lot of players in this class that are really, really good, and this class is so much better than the one that just ended. That's why I'm super stoked to bring you guys content like this. This guy is going to be a monster. He's a mauler, and he's young, and he's been to 2 schools that can develop O-linemen very, very well. I'm very excited to see what he can do, and he might be going much higher than this come draft day. Next, we got Christian Haynes to the Cowboys. I still think they could address offensive line on the interior a little bit more. I feel like their draft this year was extremely underwhelming, so it's a good player to go with. Extremely versatile, extremely athletic, somebody who is one of my guys coming into this year. Next, we have Tyler Davis to the New York Jets. We'll see what they do with Quinnen Williams, but I know they're trying to bring on Fletcher Cox, and they might be going for just one more push. Tyler Davis is a beast. I thought he was much better than Brian Breezy. And Brian Breezy, I think he went at pick 29 in this year's draft. So maybe we should give a little bit of love and take this guy at pick number 28. His buddy Ruka Rorho, another beast. I love this class, especially on the defensive interior, which is the exact opposite about how I felt about this past year's class. So very excited to see what is to come. Next, we have Jatavian Sanders, tight end out of University of Texas at Austin. I think at this point, the Seahawks will have, I think, 2 or 3 up for contract. So they will have a hole at tight end. And I think this is just another way to get one more weapon to push for a Super Bowl. This is one of the few teams that I think can compete. They didn't hit the draft as well as I think they could have, but they did a really damn good job preparing themselves for a short push. And at this point, if you're at 29, I don't think you're taking a quarterback to replace Geno. So I'm being pretty optimistic here, but we'll see about it. Then we have at 30, Andrew Makuba. Yes, I love him. He's awesome. Safety's obviously getting older. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. I don't even know if both of them are back yet. But regardless, you could definitely use an upgrade and an infusion of youth with Makuba, who also probably should be going higher. But dude, these defensive backs are ridiculous in this class. It's mind-boggling. For the Chiefs, getting a nice, dynamic, fast receiver in Xavier Worthy, which is something you didn't really do in this past draft. You got more of an X-build receiver in Rashee Rice. I think is a perfect move. Getting some extra dynamicism with a guy who is pretty much like Devontae Smith, which you see that they're at 31. They got beat by a team that just, has Devontae Smith. So maybe they're going to try to copycat him because the Eagles end off going an interior offensive lineman in Cedric Van Pran. I think that's a very smart move. He's going to be very polished at this point, and just somebody he was a consistent guy, a good run blocker, consistent as a pass blocker as well, and developed each year of his career. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be the video. Let me know what you guys think down below. See you guys on the far side. Peace.